Introducing
The Zak
and Buzz
Review!
So, we went to the cinema to go and see Late Night with the Devil.
Well, actually, we should say Late Night.
Late Night
With the Devil.
with the Devil.
Listen, you can do it, it's kind of more grainy than me. Late Night with the Devil.
So, what is quite cool about this movie is it's based upon like a found footage of a master tape of a TV show that was obviously
did air in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then
was subsequently kind of hidden.
they take the master tapes, hide them, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
And then somebody's found them, and then that's what we're watching. So we're actually, it is like watching, I think you've got to understand American late night talk shows.
Yeah. It was called Night Owls, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Jack Delroy.
They keep comparing him to Johnny Carson, wasn't it? Was it Johnny Carson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Which is obviously everybody knows Johnny Carson in America. Over here in the UK, our chat shows
Like Jonathan Ross.
Jonathan Ross. Friday night was with.
Oh, what's his face?
Oh yeah, what's his face?
Graham Norton.
Graham Norton, that's the one. And they're kind of like about 50-minute shows, would you say?
Yeah.
And they have the
Filled with
guests
different segments.
Yeah.
Like you got the music.
You got the
stuff
music
like
segment,
that.
but I noticed with especially with this kind of 70s style, and I think it was Jonathan Ross in the UK. He had a band there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Live band that would play little bits and pieces, and that's exactly how it's presented, which is a very American style. And the way that cinematography is done on it, it's all filmed in a 70s.
Yeah, it's
style.
in the 4:3 aspect ratio.
And you're watching it as if you're watching it on video.
Yeah, as a viewing audience.
Yeah, it
member
actually
on TV.
does. It looks like a video from the 70s with the odd bit in it.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant.
Like the thing about this is, you kind of go into it expecting that at some point this is going to kind of go completely wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like that's like a given straight off the bat.
It takes a while though for it
To get
move
certain kind of clues as to something's coming,
Yeah.
and then it comes.
Well, initially, because it's Halloween, and you
It's a Halloween special.
You get this kind of
It's like a backstory.
Yeah,
isn't it?
backstory to start with. Well, actually, that's the interesting thing because the backstory itself, when you think about it, that isn't part of the master tape because that's telling us about what's going on.
Well, that's from like the narrator's perspective.
From the narrator's
This was found.
Yeah, this was fair. So, and now you're going to watch the tape. Yeah, so we get the backstory first, and it's all about the main actors kind of rise to fame and always trying to get the highest ratings.
Yeah.
And then his wife dies and he goes into exile a bit, but then he comes back, gets a second wind, you could say, and then tries it, and then they think we're going to have this Halloween special, and that's really where it all goes wrong.
Yeah. So it starts off in the actual show. It starts off with this like spiritual medium.
Oh yes.
And then there's this critic who I
has
think
only one name.
I think he's one of the bad guys from one of the Matrix movies. Who's the critic? Who was the magician with the cigar?
Yeah, because you always have in these kind of things, even in the modern kind of TV programs that you see, paranormal programs, you always have the guy who's the skeptic.
Yeah,
I say guy, could be a lady, and they're trying to say, right, okay, I see how they've done that. This is how they've done it, and they basically disprove.
Because it went through all those tropes of like how people are very influential and things, or open to suggestion.
Yes.
Where
I have a name coming through. I have a name
is it
coming through.
Peterson?
Is it
Peterson?
Is it Peter, Paul, Peter? And then somebody eventually goes, Peterson? Yes, Peterson. That's it's like so false.
It goes that way, and it kind of opens that kind of, is this guy actually for real?
Yeah.
But then it goes to another group of characters
That he gets kind of a
that
connection
he does kind of get a connection with, which is like, oh, maybe he is actually, maybe this is real.
Still, the skeptic's saying, he can still do, that was just guesswork.
He then, in like the behind the scenes footage, which is like black and white that they've also added, in between like the ad breaks and things, that guy questions those two people that he was talking to, and kind of it was revealed that his like accomplice was asking them questions in the foyer. as well, which is a common trope.
And yeah, I've had that done myself.
Have you?
Yeah, a few years ago, I took a family relation to. They wanted an evening out, and they'd seen this advertisement for evening with spiritual mediums. And I went along just.
It was Christu, wasn't it? That's the name of the medium in this.
Christu, just one name, Christu.
Christu.
But anyway, to wrap up, that's exactly the thing. I went with them, and in the first half of the show, the mediums were up there saying, "Oh, I'm picking up this, I'm picking up this, I'm picking up this." Then it came to the half-time bit.
Yeah.
And then one of the mediums came over and sought me out and started talking to me and asking me questions and things and such like. You know, nice conversation. And then in the second half, about halfway through, suddenly I get picked on by one of the male mediums going, "Oh, I am picking up stuff, and oh, you know, you're very artistic," and it's like, hang on, I've been telling this person, I was telling the lady over there this information, and now she's fed it to you. It was so obvious, it was ridiculous. But I think if you've got a room full of believers, then they're going to let themselves probably
give into that.
Whereas I was skeptic.
Which was the whole point of the skeptic. Was to kind of unravel this kind of whole thing.
And his character does do that.
Yes,
doesn't he?
It does. But it's not those two instances. One is kind of very false, and then the second one is kind of semi-believable. But it's actually the third instance where it's like
he becomes possessed, doesn't he? Really?
Essentially, yes, and something really does.
Then he starts doing the omen.
The omen,
not the omen. Exorcist bit.
Didn't the skeptic call it spewing? Yeah,
they said it's spewing. It's voluntary regurgitation that they can do because it looks effective, kind of thing. So he's got an answer for everything.
Yeah.
And then it gets to they bring on this girl and her doctor.
Yeah.
And the girl is meant to be. It can channel the devil.
Well, it was the fact. It was the fact that
did they say the devil, or it's just
It was a demon.
Mr. Wiggles.
Wriggles.
Wriggles, that's it. Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wriggles.
So the backstory of the girl is that she was like brought up in this kind of satanic cult that worships Abraxas, which is some kind of like devil-like being, and
entity.
It was kind of a very kind of cult, a very dark cult-like setting that she was rescued from, and she was the only survivor. And subsequently, she has been possessed by a demon of some kind.
She can channel the demon, and the doctor can kind of bring it to the surface, but keep it controlled. But you can see what's going on. But then she does. So she does this little sequence.
And then she starts levitating.
She levitates and her face changes and she speaks in a different voice. You know. But then the skeptic comes back in and he does a really cool bit on the video, really. Because he hypnotises the audience and people at home that are watching the video, supposedly. And so we see a sequence happening.
This was very clever, actually.
That involves worms.
Which was very, very good.
But and this is the fun bit. Everybody's shocked. And then he says, "Now, can we watch that?
Can we replay that sequence?
Can we replay the videotape?" And of course, they replay the videotape, and there's no worms there, or there's no. And it's interesting because all through that sequence, the girl is sitting there saying, "Why is the man, being funny? Why is he acting funny? Because she." Isn't hypnotised.
I didn't catch on to that. No,
she was the only one who said,
"Of course,
why is he acting funny? Why is he?"
I thought it was just kind of, of course.
She's not seen any of that.
Exactly.
The audience is hypnotised. The main stars are hypnotised, but she isn't at all.
Exactly.
That's why she thinks it's just a bit funny.
That's very clever. Very clever.
So we see the videotape played back, and nothing's happened. And then he says, and the reason there's nothing on the videotape is because it was a mass hallucination.
It was hypnosis.
And then they say, well, hang on a minute, should we re-look at the video slot where the girl is possessed? Because because he's suggesting that that's hypnosis. And funnily enough, it wasn't hypnosis.
No, it wasn't.
And it's like, oh, and then that's when the lead ask them to slow the videotape down.
Yeah.
And go literally frame by frame, which on a videotape is awful.
Yeah. And then he's got the ghost of his wife right behind him. Because that's the thing. The kind of the big kind of reveal in this is that Jack Delroy has kind of made some kind of pact with this demon at the kind of Grove cult.
Ah, the Grove, yeah. The Grove is an actual thing.
I didn't expect this film to go into, but it did.
Covered that on one of our podcasts.
That is true, but it didn't.
It didn't go into it.
It didn't go into it. It just
mentioned it. It mentioned
he was part of
in the backstory that he was part of the Grove. I like that connection because the Grove is an actual thing. It's a secret society in America.
It also mentioned the Warrens from The Conjuring.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. They
were too scared to come along.
That was funny.
That was quite funny. And so it had its funny bits, the little in jokes if you caught them, and it had those little bits like, as I say, I noticed her saying why is he acting funny, and of course she wasn't hypnotised. But then it all goes to pot, really.
Yeah, essentially, the kid becomes super duper possessed, if you want a better word for it.
She literally does the scene from The Thing.
Yeah. And there's electrical explosions and fire and things going out.
And then the
skeptic gets melted.
Yeah, he gets the Indiana Jones and the
melt face.
Melt face syndrome.
The guy who's kind of dressed up as the devil, he got his head spun around.
Oh gosh, yeah, she's different.
The doctor, who was her kind of doctor, got hung
by her amulet.
Yeah. And then Jack Delroy, everyone's running out at this point, and Jack Delroy kind of goes into this hallucination sequence.
Yeah, he goes into
where he meets his dead wife. Yeah. And it's revealed that this pact was made, that he would make her, to be successful, to bring his show to what he wants it to be, he will have to make an ultimate sacrifice, and that was obviously his wife.
But she asks him, kill me, doesn't she? So, put me out my misery.
Yeah.
Which he does in this dream sequence, only to then wake up in reality and he's murdered the girl.
Yeah. And that's
spoilers. And that's basically the end of it.
Basically the end of the movie. What, on the whole, I really liked about this movie was the fact that it got the style really down to a T.
Little technical point that I've heard since we watched it was that the interludes on the video broadcast, where it says, we're having sort of channel, an intermission type broadcast bit because we've got technical issues, and then it come back again, they were all done in AI.
Oh.
Little technical thing. But,
that's interesting. That's actually it's an interesting factoid.
Good. But I love the fact that it was all the 70s style. And it,
style-wise, they got it down to a T.
Yeah, so style, really had good for the style.
I thought he did a pretty good job as being the characters,
Do you know what the actor's name is? The main actor?
Oh,
but it's like this guy. He always plays like henchman.
He's in The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
He's in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, and
he's in so many things.
But what I was going to say, it's really nice to see him getting the lead.
Getting the lead part,
because
he did a really good job.
So many times you spot faces in these things, and it's henchman, and I know what it's like because I played so many prisoners and things over my time in the movies. Because
speak for yourself.
Because warriors and things in medieval battles, but it's because you kind of
just look him up on IMDb. Okay,
just look up P. Buzzsaw Holland. Anyway, you get typecast, and I've always seen him as being one of those henchmen. It's like the guy in Big Trouble from Little China, and I can't think of his name either. He's the Asian chap with the very, very loose hair and the big moustache, who was always the henchman. He had a couple of meat cleavers in he's in so many martial arts movies.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like, if anybody could hench, he can hench,
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to see this guy playing the lead.
Exactly.
And he did a fantastic job of it.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see him in more stuff, where he gets to be an actor rather than just the henchman.
Exactly.
But for me, overall, I love the style. Story kept me engaged all the way through. But
kind of went a bit wavy towards the end.
Yeah, I felt
didn't quite know what it wanted to do.
Right at the end, it was like, we don't quite know where to go with this, and it kind of felt as if it was rounded off
rather quickly. Like, you didn't get any kind of outro of, like, by that narrator at the beginning to kind of say what happened after.
Yeah, but there you go. But anyway, so we're talking about Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil.
So a scale of if it's sort of like ectoplasm at the bottom, or we've got everybody's saved at the end of the day and everything's good. I don't know. Where are we on this scale of paranormal activity?
I'm gonna go for, mainly because of the style, and it really nailed it on the style, not so much the story.
I'm interested. What are you going to go for?
I'm going to go 6.
Do you know, I was guessing you were going to say 6.
Interesting.
I'm going to go 6 as well.
Huzzah.
So we need 3 of us, really, don't we?
Jonesy.
What do you think?
6.
6. Oh.
That's bringing us
over.
Right, did you see, first Omen trailer came out, didn't it?
Did you see on social media? I actually saw it today. It said on the first night that Late Night with the Devil hit the box offices, it made something like $666 million. Something like that. It was hilarious. Oh, somebody thought that was a fun bit of advertising. But anyway, yeah. So we're giving it 6.
Yeah.
6.
Would you recommend it to somebody to go watch the cinema?
I would actually.
It's a big question actually, because it's a Shudder exclusive, or it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be available on streaming post cinema.
You don't reckon it's going to go to disc? They said
it might do eventually.
They've said that a lot about different things, and then they end up going on disc.
Yeah, I mean, like Prey. Yeah. It took about a year after it came out exclusively on streaming.
They realised they can make extra money out of it.
Extra cash, yeah.
So for me, I think it's one I'll buy on Blu-ray or 4K.
Yeah.
I'd watch it again. But if you're going to see it, get while it's at the cinema. Go to the cinema.
So to compare it to other horror films we've seen at the cinema recently, that would be Immaculate Imaginary and... Did we watch any more? Can't remember.
Not horror movies, I don't think.
Out of Darkness.
We're still waiting for the first Omen, aren't we?
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
I think it was better than maybe the other ones we've watched. Although I liked Imaginary, that was quite fun. It's just the ending.
It left something to be desired.
It's
very self-contained in that sense. That it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
Really.
I think if you like the 70s style, you're going to like this.
Exactly, yeah.
If you find the 70s style too retro for you, I think people might go, oh God, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like the style.
Maybe.
But, everybody has their
If you like
taste.
the 70s, if you like paranormal investigation.
And playing around with video effects.
Or late night TV shows.
Yeah.
This is the one for you.
Yeah, videotape effects, they were quite good. Anyway, there we are. So that's our roundup of that.
If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of further reviews you'd like to see.
And we shall see you in the next one.
Or in the afterlife.
Ooh.